So we're going to have a little look at the lo-fi Game Boy style sound, which starts the intro of the Calvin Harris track Bounce. Starting with the ES2 synth in Logic, set to the default setting, and oscillators 1 and 2, we will select the square wave. On oscillator 3, we will select noise. So over to the filter section, which will select the parallel mode. And now for some work on some of these parameters. So on section 1 of the filter, dropping the resonance, selecting the low filter, low frequency filter, and on section 2 of the filter, a 24 dB setting has been selected. Now if we select the chorus, this will bring in a little sparkle, a little brightness to the sound. With the speed on high, intensity fairly low. Tweaking the blend on the top of the filter. And at the bottom, we've got the envelope section. LFO1, LFO2, and envelope 2, here we are. And the envelope 3 section, over to the right, we can start to get a little closer. Okay, so with the release drop down a bit, we're getting close, but not quite. You can hear the rate of the LFO there isn't quite right, so in the router section we're going to change a few things. So turning down the analog parameter, top left, rounds off the sound nicely. And now for some work on the router. Selecting cutoff 2 for the first one, via velocity, and the source is set to envelope 2. Then selecting on the second of the router options, oscillator 3, wave B, via mod wheel, and the source being LFO. Now we still need to add a little bit of noise, which you can hear in the background. But using the router, we can add some noise by changing some of the settings. So here we go. Selecting cutoff 2. Via off, that's that next setting. At the top. And mod wheel. And again on the next one, cutoff 2. Off. And keyboard. In fact, we'll delete this section. So if we select router off, we can then use the vector, setting up the vector so we can balance the mix of the 3 oscillators to blend in that noise. A bit of final mixing here on the filter. Now at this point you can work on the different options to create your own lo-fi or Game Boy synthesizer type sound. So that's it for the lo-fi sound using the ES1 synth in Logic. So let's take a little look at how we can recreate the lead sound in Calvin Harris's track Bounce. Starting with the default setting on the ES1 synth in Logic. And I've chosen the ES1 because it can produce a really good quality nasal lead synth sound. Select the wave and sub oscillators there and toggling between the wave and sub on the mix parameter. I'm selecting a pulse width wave for both of these parameters. So I'm going to turn the drive up here and I'm going to turn up the cutoff right to the top, turning up the envelope level, set the resonance low, turn up the amplifier level there and the routing parameters. Bit of rerouting here on the modulation side of the sound, which you should be able to hear any minute now. Okay, so we're making this sound dry. We'll add the reverb later on. If we do it without the reverb, we'll then be able to get it just right. Okay, we're going to set the rate to 8.91 Hz just to get the modulation at the right speed. So this is just a guide, just to get you near to that sound as possible using these tools. But don't forget, these are just ideas that you can use in your own tunes. So we're just guiding you through how this may have been done or how you can do it with this bit of software. But experiment, try different things out. The modulation envelope was set to 94 milliseconds. Bit of work on the lower threshold of the amplifier. And we've selected the 24 dB fat setting on the filter, just to give that sound a little bit of rounded warmth. We have just turned down the analog setting there just to a very low setting, 2%. So we're going to have a little look at the whole mix and the plugins used in it. There's the reverb on the lead synth and the compressor, taking an input from the kick drum on the side chain, and the lo-fi synth. We've got some compression on the lo-fi synth just to bring the noise elements out. The compression also brings out all of the harmonic elements of that sound. Fat EQ, the low frequencies boosted, just so you can hear those low notes. And with the drums in the mix, we can start mixing using the mix section of Logic, using the faders. And we can start getting things to sit properly. Get those levels right, sit it all together, and let the mixing begin.